I will be trying to survive 100 days in our world Minecraft. Will we manage to survive and maybe even thrive, or will we just end up dying and eventually quit from frustration? Well, to find out, continue more in the video to see what happens. On day 1, we happened to spawn in a forest, where nearby we luckily found ourselves a torch trail. And after that, we quickly found our way to a nearby village that I quickly decided to explore. And then with some gravel I found outside, I decided to mine it for some flint. And in one of the houses, I even found an entire pair of armor. Sadly, we could not equip the armor yet because our levels were not high enough. But I decided this would be the house we were going to stay in. And with our newly collected materials that I found outside, we were able to craft ourselves a flint knife. And with our new knife, we were able to get some fiber from some wheat, which we then used to make a flint hatchet. Though, on the way around the village, we did encounter a water creature. Still not sure what it is, even after the 100 days. Though we were still able to cut down a tree with our flint hatchet still. Timber. That day we were even able to create ourselves a flint pickaxe. And that night we went to bed knowing we were safe in our brand new house. On day 2, we immediately set up a cobblestone mine right behind our house, which we of course used to make cobblestone tools instead of the cruddy flint ones. I then went upstairs and got attacked by a freaking dragon. Which also just happened to destroy most of my house. The dragon also destroyed most of my village as well. On that day, I swore that one day I would get revenge on the dragon. So I started cutting down some trees just to slightly patch up my house. So I quickly patched up all the holes of my house. And after my house was patched up, I started mining back in that old mine that I set up. I also started work on a fence for the village as well, which I was able to get partially up by the end of the day. On day 3 to 4, I continued making the fence. On day 5, after working on the fence for most of the day, I found some good loot in the blacksmith chest, including a lot of new armor and even a shield. On day 6, we mined some coal from the nearby mine. And then I killed a lot of nearby animals for experience, so I could level up my character. And then I proceeded to almost die from dehydration, and then after I drank water from the nearby river, I got parasites. But anyway, with that coal I gathered, I was able to cook the new meat I just required, so I had a good supply of food. Yeah, day 6 was not the best day. On day 7, I once again went mining in the caves, and I found some coal. I also found iron, but I couldn't mine it due to my low mining level. So I went out and killed some more animals again so I could get more experience. And after that, I was able to level up to mining level 4. And then I went back into the cave to mine that iron. And then after that, I went home and crafted some wool armor to keep myself insulated in cold weather. On day 8, I entered the nearby battle tower, where I promptly destroyed 2 of the spawners. I eventually destroyed the 3rd spawner as well, then healed by going to a nearby nymph. And then I collected all the loot and filled up some of the holes. On day 9, I repeated this process, and almost died due to cave spiders. In the end, I was still able to break the last spawner on that level though. But sadly on the top level, there was only some cruddy loot. Though I was able to make some iron tools that I still couldn't use because I was too low level. On day 10, I decided I'm ready for the lower levels of the battle tower. I was in fact not ready for the battle tower. I'm dying, please help me. Day 11 to 13, I farmed the battle tower, killing as many enemies as I could possibly kill, so I could get as much experience to level up. On day 14, we killed some animals because we needed to replenish our food supply. I also had a quick run with a Reaper that took me a little long time to deal with, but eventually I was able to deal with it. On day 15, we took a ton of time getting back to stone tools because all the iron tools we still had we couldn't use because we were too low level. And then we went back to the battle tower to continue getting some more experience. On day 16, ready for the battle tower, I went straight to the battle tower with some torches, deactivate some of the spawners, but I actually ended up starting a fight between the skeletons. Too bad the blaze wasn't included in that fight though. Day 17, we did more on the battle tower. We also spawned Krampus from one of the presents. Still have not managed to get him out from that level of the battle tower. Day 18, we continued to try to kill Krampus to clear out the battle tower level, but it wasn't a success. And at nighttime, we tried to get some loot from the dragon chest, but instead of the dragon, we got a skeleton shooting an arrow through our head. Day 19, the heist continued. I just walked up to one of the chests and took the stuff and ran away. We even found some manuscripts as well. Anyway, I found this nice house that was pretty big that I decided we're gonna move into since it doesn't live right next to a dragon. Day 20, we spent almost the entire day moving all items from our first house in the village right next to the dragon to the giant house that was away from the dragon. I found out there was even a secret wine cellar basement that was at the bottom of the house that was hidden that I accidentally found. On day 21, I decided to organize our items into the chests in our new house, just to keep it a bit more clean for the next few days. Like organizing all the weapons and armor into the armory that we have. It took a while, but at the end of it, I decided to look up some recipes to see what I might be able to make in the future. And at the end of the day, I tried to learn about what the runes I had tried to do, but I had absolutely no idea what they did, and I still don't. On day 22, I looked up some crafting recipes about Branium, which is pretty interesting. It's a good pickaxe apparently that doesn't do much damage, which I guess makes sense. I also did some research about canteens and iron canteens as well, just in case if we needed more water. I also decided to explore this dungeon I found a little bit earlier, just in case it had some good loot. Sadly, it was mostly just a small quarter that had cobwebs everywhere and tons of plants blocking your way. And even trying to clear all the leaves and wood and stuff causes an ent to spawn, which is a tree beast. And then when I tried to sleep there, it spawned a reaper, which ended up killing me because it was a variant type. In the morning on day 23, I started researching about Aussie liners that I definitely couldn't get. And then I went back to that dungeon I explored a while ago. I also recovered all the items I dropped when I died, though I did lose some experience. I also mined some of the leftover redstone blocks that were left down there. I also neutralized some zombie spawners and killed one of the occupants of that room. Though it did have some decent loot, like a diamond and some enchanted books, which is actually pretty good. One of the cave spiders even dropped a B0, which grants immunity to poison damage. Anyway, at nighttime I decided to attack the dragon, which is a very stupid idea. On day 24, while picking up my items, I actually summoned a Rudolph enemy. Almost killed me, but I was able to make it through this crack and survive. I was still able to kill the enemy, though. And most importantly, I was still able to get almost all my items back as well. I also learned that gold lockpicks also suck as much as other gold tools do. So instead I made some diamond lockpicks, which also worked way, way better than other lockpicks as well. In the end, I had an insane amount of wood collected from the chests. On day 25, I went back to that dungeon again. This time, I went for the cave spider spawners, which were a bit more difficult, to be honest. After that, I changed my plans and I went down the normal route I went, and I actually started unpicking that lock for that gold chest. Inside there was only some dusty old books and 4 pieces of gold, to be honest. Day 26, I spent the entire day trying to figure out how to go to the Twilight Dimension. I didn't have the mod installed, actually, so it just didn't work. RIP. On day 27, I broke into this old house I found that I've been staying at nearby the dungeon, and I actually picked all the locks and stole the stuff from the chest, and I even took the chest as well. And then later that day, I was able to trap a nymph in a box, which it turns out is actually useless because they won't stay in the boxes. On day 28, I started digging up the graves I found at a graveyard because they had some good loot, and some of them had spawners that I had to destroy as well, so they wouldn't cause some messes later. They weren't the best items, but there was quite a lot of them, so it made up for it in the end. Then after that, I crafted a couple lockpicks. Then while attacking a cow, I accidentally spawned a spriggan, which then proceeded to harass me for the next, 1 to 5 minutes. And then I used the lockpicks I crafted to finish lockpicking the rest of the chests in the graveyard to get the rest of the loot. The loot was about the same as the unlocked chests, though. After that, I crafted myself my very own lock, and then I put it on the chest and locked the chest. Had to use a lockpick to unlock it because I couldn't attach it to a keyboard somehow. On day 30, I finally made myself an atlas. Basically just a very in-depth, regular Minecraft map that allows you to set markers and stuff. So then I went around everywhere and started marking everything I possibly could on my map. And then I proceeded to get it completely destroyed by a dragon. Forever. I tried to get it back that night, but I wasn't able to. The entirety of day 31 was me trying to get back that atlas, and eventually realizing that I couldn't. Though eventually I did get a ton of other riches like diamonds and stuff, because dragons do sometimes sleep at night, but only sometimes. On day 32, I added some of the transcript knowledge to my bestiary book that I have got. Day 32, once again, I tried to make the Twilight portal, which didn't work. Though at the end of the day, I did look through almost most of my bestiary and learn some more stuff about the creatures of this game. Once again, the entirety of day 33 was spent organizing and cooking food. On day 34, I finally made myself a canteen, which I didn't make any other day, which I of course upgraded to iron. Then for the next half of the day, I messed with the water canteen, and then I spent the rest of the day organizing all the items into the chests. The next day I found out that somehow from one of the presents I actually spawned one of these giant penguin things. Yeah, they weren't friendly. Though in the end, by a lot of smart planning and thinking of a plan to do, I actually lured the creature over to the graveyard and got it trapped inside the bar area. Anyway, with the help of my new atlas that I just crafted again, I found a volcano. I then collected almost all the lava from that volcano. I then crafted and lit the new nether portal I just created with all that lava. I then entered the nether and, of course, immediately died. The exit of the portal also happened to get sent all the way underground underneath the nearby mountain next to my house. Because, of course, it did. On day 36, I made myself a diamond pickaxe that I could not use. On day 36, I made myself another atlas, because I lost the last one as well. And then I ran around the world and started marking places once again, and filling out my atlas once again, because the other one got destroyed. I even found another village, which had a wood mill that wasn't destroyed this time. Well, at least until this dragon attacked, and I had to hide inside the building that was falling apart due to ash falling from the roof, because the roof became the ash. Well, I was at least safe until the cinder elemental came up and tried to kill me, so then I had to run away. Anyway, on the bright side, I was able to quickly find a waypoint. So I quickly, of course, teleported to the other village closer to my house. And then I went home to heal up and rest, because this day was actually pretty crazy. On day 37, I found a gem deposit area in the water, and I even found a floating treehouse in the middle of the ocean, I guess. Nothing really happened on day 38. We don't talk about day 38. On day 39, I did some regular chores around the house, killing demons, hunting Silix in the nearby village, that sort of stuff. On day 40, after getting all suited up, I tried to defeat Krampus in the tower, but I wasn't able to. So I decided to go to the lowest level. Turned out that level was mostly just super strong blazes and super strong skeletons, so I kinda just left. Though before I went to bed while I was sorting some stuff, this happened.
Oh, salty tree, how lovely is your...
The next morning when I went outside, I was greeted with these trees. On the bright side, one of them dropped a heart crystal shard, which is extremely good, because if you get 9 of them, you can put them together and get a permanent extra life. Though I did die multiple times to the bigger trees. It took so long, in fact, that by the time I was almost done with defeating some of them, they just despawned because I took so long. So, I guess that's good. That day I was even able to safe-proof the other side of my nether portal, so I wouldn't die instantaneously when I entered the nether. I also started digging a tunnel to the surface from the cave that I get to when I get teleported out of the nether from that nether portal. It took a while, but eventually when I broke out of the ground, it turned out I was on the top of the mountain behind my house. On day 42, I surrounded my nether portal and stuff, so monsters couldn't go through my nether portal and instantly kill me, or maybe even set my house on fire. Just a safety precaution, to be honest. That day I also had to clear out some enemies from the other side of the nether portal that got stuck in the nether. Though I did have to go to the overworld to mine some coal because I wasn't high enough level to mine the ore there. We also mined some gold from the nether after that because gold can be used for a good amount of recipes. And then I got attacked by whatever this thing is. And yes, I did die multiple times to that enemy. On the bright side, when I got there another time, the creature was gone, and all that was left that it ever existed in the first place was the 2 craters from when I died 2 times. Though it was pretty helpful because the blast revealed quite a lot of Cincinnite. And then when I got back to the house, I went and crafted a bunch of steel alloy. And I even started smelting into steel ingots that night as well. And then on day 44, we even made the head of our new paxel that we're going to craft soon. That day we were even able to make the steel rod that was needed for the paxel. Though it did take me to day 45 to be able to craft the hilt though. And then on day 46, I went and mined some extra iron, because I needed it for a bucket, so I could fill it up with water and create a farm. Here, I made you a time-lapse of me making the farm. Then on day 47, I grabbed some crops from the nearby village so I could expand my field even more. And then I, of course, continued working on my field. On day 48, I continued working on the fields for a bit. Later that day, I also organized all the chests in my house. That day, I was also faced with the unfortunate realization that my portal got moved outside of the protective area, and I am no longer safe when I enter the nether. On day 49, I spent most of the day hunting silex. And while looking for silex, I even found a wolf in the woods. So I of course went back to my house to retrieve some bones from that chest, so I could tame the wolf. And yes, I was actually able to tame it. And yes, on day 50, I did put armor on my wolf so it wouldn't die in case an enemy somehow got in the house. Then, I spent the other half of the day kinda trying to kill a Keppel golem that came out of the ground when I was trying to mine some iron. On the bright side, it revealed that there was multiple veins of iron with over 20 pieces of total ore of iron, which is really good actually. On day 51, I decided I'll start mining in the caves when you exit the nether portal. I then met a Gnek in the caves and promptly died. On day 52, I captured a rock in a boat so I could soul gaze and get some more knowledge about it. On day 53, I fished almost the entire day so I could catch some silex, cook it, and turn it into Aravian treats. On day 54 to 55, I trapped a rock in a room and proceeded to soul gaze it for those 2 days. On day 56, I harvested all the wheat and crops from my field. I then spent the rest of the day picking up all the crops and seeds. I also replanted as many seeds as I could back onto the field. On day 57, I kept trying to get my stuff back from the nether portal after I died in the nether portal and dropped all my stuff, so I kept trying to get back and kept dying. Then on day 58, I spent the entire day mining for new minerals to see if I could still find diamonds. Sadly, I still found no diamonds. I also spent all of day 59 and 60 mining looking for diamonds as well. As you know, it didn't turn out great. On day 61, I had to go back into the mines to pick up my items because I kind of died. On day 62, I once again spent most of the day fishing. On day 63, once again, I stole some stuff from a dragon. On day 64, I gained full knowledge of the creature known as the Rock, which I also learned at the same time of being carried away by one, that they can pick you up and carry you away. On day 65 in the morning, I decided to start fishing. I also opened a winter gift, which happened to spawn Gooderness. Then I promptly led Gooderness over to the graveyard. And once they were trapped inside the graveyard, I decided to try to kill one of them, and I actually realized they weren't invincible. I then dealt with them, and I got rewarded with a Heart Crystal Shard. On day 66, I tried to fight Gooderness again to see if I could get a Heart Crystal Shard. I did not get a Heart Crystal Shard, though. Though one thing that did happen was I was grabbed by Krampus and stuck in a nether portal for 5 to 10 minutes straight. Day 67, I just decided to run one direction to see if I could find anything. And I actually stumbled upon this village that had a giant dungeon area right next to it. So I, of course, activated the village's waypoint. And then I scoped out the new dungeon that I was going to explore soon. I then spent day 68 through 70 farming skeletons and pillagers in the new dungeon. Day 71 was more of the same, but then I moved my bed and forgot to sleep in it because it wasn't nighttime yet, and then I died and respawned in the middle of the freaking ocean. I'm an idiot. Day 72 was me trying to get back to my house. It wasn't going well. Day 73 was just more of the same. Day 74 in the morning, it was mostly just the same. Though I did find out this weird underwater base thing that was mostly just empty. So at the end of the day, I was able to find a village that had a warp totem. And on day 75, I was finally able to get back to stealing stuff from that mansion, which mostly entailed killing hordes of pillagers, and then dying after killing a lot of them. Day 76 was also more of the same. Day 77, I organized my chests. And then later that day, I also took some items out of the chests, so I could bring them back to the house. Day 78 was mostly just me, killing enemies that I spawned through a big present to try to get some heart shards, so I could make a heart crystal. Once again, day 79 was more of the same as yesterday. For all of day 81, I farmed Grooves by staying in the cave until they tried to kill me, and then I decided to kill them instead. Though on day 82, I was able to craft myself my first soulstone, so I could keep my pet, rock when I tamed it, with me forever. Then, later that day, I also farmed my wheat fields to get more experience and such. On day 83, I made myself a fishing pond in my basement, so I could continue fishing even in winter. From day 83 all the way to day 92, I spent the entire days just fishing and breeding selects so I could get enough selects meat to be able to tame a rock. Day 97 to 99, I just did some chores and I even went mining a bit. Day 100, I went outside, it was raining, but I was still able to appreciate the big building I was able to find. And then I spent the rest of the day with my pet rock, mostly enjoying the day and how I managed to complete this challenge without going crazy. If you like this challenge, feel free to comment below if you'd like to see another 100 days, or maybe another Minecraft challenge, or a challenge in a different game. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, because this video took a very long time to make, and it took quite a lot of effort to make. So, thank you for watching once again, guys. Have a great day, everyone.